Hey everybody, welcome to the Rock Bottom Alchemy podcast. My name is Tiffany, I'm your host. If you are a returning listener, welcome back. And if you are new here, if this is your first time, hey, what's up? I'm glad you're here. Y'all, this episode I wanted to make about how to have a good morning, how to have a better day, how to set yourself up for feelings of like safety and abundance and calm and happiness and peace from your internals, from a place of nervous system regulation, if you will. For those familiar with my story, you kind of know, but if you're not, I'll just give you the very short version. I was a certified crash out not very long ago. I was at the bottom of rock bottoms, multiple bad things, and, like physical ailments, mental health. I was basically nonverbal. I was in fear 24/7. I was really struggling to find happiness and purpose and all that stuff in my life, safety. And so I left it all behind and went to the forest. I, like a monk, sat in the forest for a year in a house, guys. I wasn't in just the trees, but I focused on alchemizing. It was my goal. It was my one goal. I said, I have to heal. I found myself unemployable. I was so unhealed. And I think that's not that uncommon right now, after 2020, after everything people have gone through. We have a lot of people in the world today that are searching for their purpose, searching for safety and freedom. And so here on Rock Bottom Alchemy, that's literally what I'm here for and intend to impart on the listener is a sense of groundedness. Hopefully you walk away from each and every podcast episode feeling more aligned, more hopeful, more confident, more in your purpose, safer. I hope that you feel beautiful and loved because you are. You are. Just by virtue of existing, guys, you are a piece of nature. Here we go. I know I'm about to go on a rant. You are a piece of nature. Just like the trees, just like the flowers, just like the animals, just like the wind, the ocean, you are another piece of nature. Humans get so caught up in that day-to-day grind of time, watching the clock and the alarm, and you got to get to work, and you got to make that money, and you got to pick up the kids, and it becomes this grind, a matrix, if you will, that kind of pulls us, it yanks us from our nature, and we barely have time to remember that we are, in fact, animals meant to be in our natural state. What is our natural state, right? We could go really far on any of these topics, but today I wanted to chat about how to have a better day, how to create morning habits. What type of things can we do in the morning that create like a sense of groundedness, a sense of safety, where, especially if you were like me, where I was like waking up in like a literal panic attack. I would be having nightmares at night, and I would wake up in the morning like with a super migraine, teeth, jaw clenched, fist clenched, sometimes tears streaming down my face. I mean, the nightmares were real. And then I would find myself in an unsafe home environment, and it's like the nightmare began again. And this was all during 2020. So I felt very unsafe. I was disappointed, actually, every time I woke up. And I was like, oh no, it's like Groundhog Day. If you are feeling anything like that, where it's like the same Groundhog Day crappy feeling every morning, you are my spirit animal. I love you so much. You're the person I'm here for. You're the person I want to talk to today. I love you. Let's get into it. And guys, everything I speak about, it's personal experience. I'm not just like spewing stuff out there. Everything I'm telling you, I have tried. I was like chronically ill. I was bedridden. I was nonverbal. I had migraines every single day. I was taking Excedrin migraine every single day. So real quick before we start the morning talk, the rising schedules, I want to speak about what you can do the night before to have a better morning. If you're somebody that has headaches, muscle tension, if you find yourself clenched up, very tense and stressed, might I recommend magnesium the night before? There's different kinds. Look it up. Of course, I'm not a doctor, but magnesium is a well-known muscle relaxer. Our bodies need magnesium. Our bones need magnesium. Our brain function, it needs magnesium. It helps reduce headaches and a lot of other things. Like I said, consult your doctor. But essentially the name of the game the night before is how can you slip into a peaceful, relaxed, restful state rather than in pain and tension, because the goal is for your body to be feeling nice or nicer the next morning. So yeah, just check into magnesium, you guys. Other things that I started doing the night before, I would be just like staying up really late like a night owl. I don't do that anymore. I do my best to be natural with our circadian rhythm. So you can stay up really late, and if you're in like any type of traumatized fight or flighty type of thing, a lot of people, without even realizing, it's like a way of regaining control over their life. Like if you feel like you don't have much control in your day-to-day, you might be staying up really late to like get things done, or so that you can have a moment alone or think clearly. It's a way of creating peace in a way, but it really throws off your circadian rhythm. So trying to pay attention to the sun, and when the sun goes down, take that as your cue to like move into more of a restful state. Maybe turn the LEDs off. Just little things like that. Even if you're going to be awake, allow yourself to slip into a restful state by turning off the LEDs, getting yourself warm and cozy, take a warm shower, make a cup of chamomile tea. So setting yourself up the night before is helpful. I have found the night before process to be just as important as the morning one. Okay, so fast forward to the morning. I'm laying there in bed. You are laying there in bed. Before you even open your eyes, like right as you're gaining consciousness, I want you to smile. Just smile. It tricks your brain. You've probably heard, right? It tricks your brain into releasing happy hormones, even if the smile is fake. Part of pulling yourself out of rock bottom is creating happy hormones in your body. And there's different ones. There's oxytocin. I'm not a hormone expert, but there's oxytocin, which is like the love hormone. It's the connection one. You get oxytocin release when you experience sensations, like warmth, like physical touch, like the breeze blowing across your face, like petting your animal or receiving a hug. So oxytocin is one. Dopamine, I think, is the reward hormone, and then there's serotonin. I don't remember what that one does, but and a lot of the practices that I'm going to talk about release multiple of these hormones. So you can do like one good act, and it releases a flood of wonderful feeling sensations through your body if you allow it. So first thing first, we're going to smile, even if it's fake. Smile and allow those hormones to release, fake or not, they're going to happen. If you believe in vibration, if you believe that what you put out may come back to you, there is a great manifestation expert. I don't know if he's alive anymore. He's written books. His name is Neville, Neville, I think. He says, and a lot of other people say, and I adopted this, and I can confirm it feels great to say it and believe it, okay? So as you're smiling, I want you to say, something wonderful is going to happen to me today. Something wonderful is going to happen to me today. If you have pets, if you have kids, if you have a family, if you have a situation in your life, if you find yourself in a customer service job where you're really stressed out, speak that over your life and speak it over the aspects of your life that are stressing you out instead of allowing the negative thoughts to flood in. You know, if you work at a busy coffee shop, say something wonderful is going to happen to me at work today. If your dog is sick, my dog is sick, say something wonderful is going to happen to Fido today. And believe it. The trick is we are saying these beautiful things over our life, and we are believing it. So you're smiling, you're speaking beauty over your life before you've even opened your eyes. Every day, I want you to do this and lean into the feeling, what it would feel like for something wonderful to happen to you. I just got goosebumps saying that. If you have dreams, it is kind of fascinating to record your dreams. People talk about a dream dictionary. I've never been the type who is interested in having a notebook next to my bed and sitting upright enough to write, to journal. I found a better way for me, which is opening a notepad app on my phone and using the voice feature to text. And I record my dreams that way. Y'all, if you are the type that has interesting dreams but you lose them, do this. Make it one of your first things because it helps you learn, right, about yourself. What you're doing in your dream state is often subconscious. It's like your subconscious beliefs, your story playing out. So you can actually learn about yourself. What are you holding in your subconscious? Just by recording your dreams, and then later look back at them and be like, oh my God, you'll be surprised, right? I am a very, very, very active dreamer, and I'm still shocked when I go back and read like what I'm up to at night. It kind of helps you log where you're at in your journey. Yeah. So now you're up, you have put a smile on your face. You are believing that something wonderful is going to happen to you. You have kind of given yourself a breadcrumb trail of your dreams, of your subconscious, of what you're experiencing. Now, think of the things that you're grateful for in your life. Yes, I know it's stereotypical. Everyone says gratitude. It's true. When we're speaking of vibration, gratitude is a higher vibration than fear, of anxiety, of resentfulness, of greed. When you are going up the scale, the frequency chart, and there is a scale, Google it. Frequency is real. I'm sure I have people who are more educated on the universal laws and vibration than I that are listening. But I am also speaking to people who are like, I don't believe in God. I don't believe in spirituality. I believe in only science. Well, good, because vibration is science. So check it out. They have recorded the vibration of different emotions. Essentially, the vibration, the frequency talk. What it all boils down to is that we are meant to be at our highest vibration pretty much at all times. Our highest vibrations are love, authenticity, freedom, gratitude, bliss, euphoria, and the things that bring us away from those high states are essentially like like weighted blankets all over us. The process of increasing your vibration and frequency, it's not as complicated as it might sound. It's just removing layers of trauma, of conditioning, of weird insults, of fear of people perceiving you a certain way, and of holding heaviness in your heart, like anger, like resenting somebody for something they did to you. Gratitude is such a powerful way to increase your vibration. You are still laying in bed right now, but you are smiling. You are releasing happy hormones, and you are focusing on being in a state of love and gratitude. There's always something to be grateful for. And maybe if you're like in a super shitty environment, it can be hard to find something. Do you have an animal, a cat or a dog? Pet your animal. Are they in bed next to you right now? Pet your pet. Release oxytocin by physically touching them, and feel the feeling of gratitude for them being in your life. And if you have a hard time with that, without like traumatizing yourself, picture the day that they're not in your life, just for a split second, guys. And then go, oh my God, I'm so grateful you're here. You'd be amazed, right? Every day you can lean into gratitude. It makes every day an experience more magical when you appreciate what's around you. Be grateful that you have a roof over your head. You see homeless people, right? Begging for money. I was homeless for a short while. I was living in a hotel, but there were a few nights where I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to be in a hotel. The feeling of not having a roof over your head is the scariest, one of the scariest that I've ever experienced. If you have a roof over your head, that's amazing. If you are breathing right now, congratulations. You have another day to seize, right? To make a change in your life, to experience something beautiful, to pass something beautiful along. Okay, moving on. If you pray, ask the Most High for love and protection, abundance, success, health. Speak what you want to see out into existence. If you don't believe in a higher power, then speak it out on the tenets, on the basis of vibration, of the law, the universal laws of frequency and vibration. Put it out there on those tenets. You know, if you believe that what you put out there may come back to you, then visualize. Maybe, like in my case, I was like bedridden, guys, and I was really weak. My mind was weak, not just my body. My muscles were atrophied. My joints hurt very badly. It hurt so bad just to roll in bed from one side to the other. It was this whole process. I had like no muscle. My diet was really bad. I was inflamed like to the nines. You know, I know what it feels like to be physically very depleted. Mentally, I was in a state where my thoughts would start and then they would drop off. And it wasn't like I could recover them. It wasn't a pause. I would just my brain would just drop off, and that would be it. And maybe later on in the day, I'd have another thought and the same thing would happen. I was very mentally incapacitated. So I understand what it feels like to not be able to put much energy into topics like that felt woo-woo, like manifesting. But maybe you can relate. I could visualize. I would lay there and I would be like, man, I just wish my life was different. I wish my reality was different. I would give anything to have financial stability and be able to leave this environment. And, well, yeah, I would be healthier if I had a personal chef, if I could afford someone to cook for me. I'm so depleted right now, I don't have the energy. But are those not manifestations in their own way? Visualize what you want for yourself. But if we're talking on like a small scale, if we're talking about having a better day, visualize something that feels attainable. I have 2 parts to this challenge. Visualize something small that feels attainable, that would uplift you in a hurry if it happened. Like, ask yourself, what do I want right now? And visualize it. So if that's like, maybe you have the ability to order a breakfast sandwich, and you know that breakfast sandwich would throw your vibration way up just because of the happiness you would, like, maybe that's your favorite thing to eat. Maybe it's not the healthiest, but like sometimes we actually just need to do things for our vibration. I did that, I believe that, and I still lost a bunch of weight, I still healed. And then I want you to visualize something that you know would take time, but still feels attainable if only you would put in that effort. If only you could stay committed. Like maybe you have this goal of, maybe you don't have a muscle tone on your body, but you want muscle. Maybe you feel weak, but you wish you were a little stronger. Maybe you don't have any flexibility, but you wish you were the type of person who stretched, who, like maybe you watch content of people like fitness people and you're like, man, I hope someday I could do that. Create visualization, like as part of your morning. Think about things that you want and then pick out something that is attainable, because dopamine is the reward hormone, right? So if you pick something that's actually attainable, that you can check off your mental list in the morning, it's going to give you a boost. And pick something that's further out. And now, with that further out goal, and maybe you have multiple of them, I want to throw out an idea. I was looking up the numbers this morning. 1% of your day, just 1% of your day, is roughly 15 minutes. Okay? 15 minutes a day equates to about 100 hours a year. It's like just under 100 hours. I think it's like 91. Think if you were to take just 15 minutes of your morning, of your day, and put it towards that long-term goal that feels unattainable. So like, for instance, if you're not the type of person who has any flexibility, but you really wished you were the type that could do a split, and you see those videos and you're like, I want to be that girl that does a split. Well, maybe you're really far away right now, but 15 minutes of like light stretching today, 15 minutes of light stretching for the next month every day. And after you do that light stretching, maybe in 2, 3, 4, 5 months, those 15 minutes, you'll be doing a little bit deeper stretching. By month 7, 8, 9, I mean, can you imagine the transformation in your stretching game? If you've put 6 months of 15 minutes a day, that's 1% of your day. So when you think about things that you want that would bring you happiness, that will bring those good hormones flowing each day, give yourself the instant gratification things like that breakfast sandwich that's going to throw your happiness up. And then I like to create longer term goals, but that still feel attainable. And when you break it down to the 1% a day, when you break it down to just 15 minutes a day, it doesn't sound so bad. I was literally like autoimmune pain, bedridden. 15 minutes actually at one point of stretching. And hey, even now, I'm still recovering my physical vessel. 15 minutes a day can be a lot. If you're like literally bedridden, you don't have to take it so serious. You don't have to put on workout clothes and like I don't know, like ankle weights. You don't have to get down on the floor. If all you can do for day one is lay in bed and lift your arms up and down, like one side, all right? That's all you can do. That's better than what you were doing, right? You are still making progress. Another very easy stretch for me, for instance, turn yourself around. Most people have a headboard that's butted up against the wall. Well, your legs are a place where your lymphatic fluid, where your blood flow can get very stagnated. Putting your legs up a wall is like so good for your health. Maybe you do nothing to stretch. Maybe that first day, all you do is spin yourself around, wiggle your butt up to the wall, and just have your legs up, vertical, up that wall, and let them hang a little bit off to the side here and there, and great. You know what I mean? Give yourself permission to take itty bitty tiny little baby steps towards your big goals. It's okay. You can do that for a week straight. Okay, anyway, I know we went so far on that topic, but like that matters. That 1% matters. Give yourself the instant gratifications, and then give yourself 15 minutes a day, just 15 minutes a day, to work towards something that matters to you, that you know you'll 6 months from now you'll be very grateful for. Okay, you guys, we are still literally laying in bed. We are smiling. We're saying something wonderful is going to happen to us. We're being grateful. We're talking to the universe, asking for protection and love. We're recording our dreams. We are maybe laying and stretching and visualizing. Don't pick up your phone yet, you guys. Don't do it. Don't doom scroll. Don't do it. You can hold out. Guys, doom scrolling is the worst. I know you know. We don't even have to talk about it. You know. You see negativity. You see unrealistic standards. You see people who spend 15 minutes every day, but they've been doing it for 5 years and they're an expert in their field. It can be very depressing. Try your best. Just try it out. Don't pick up your phone. Don't open social media. Don't doom scroll. Just see what happens. If you can look out the window at nature, a tree, anything, find something outside of the four walls that you're in and appreciate the tree, a blade of grass, a flower, a bird, whatever. Remind yourself that you are nature. And speaking of stretches, I highly recommend just doing a couple of light stretches. If you are on your back, it's like going into a frog position. Just pull your feet together, like put your feet facing each other, and then bring your legs up as high as comfortable. And just lay there, like with your legs spread and your feet together, and just stretch. We store so much trauma in our hips. It's a great way to start the day, to just stretch. When was the last time you stretched your hips? Speaking of stretching your hips, after that, if you have the time, lay on your stomach. A lot of people don't ever like give the front of their hips like a nice flat stretch. Lay on your stomach. It might sound really basic, but if you have any amount of trauma stored in your hips, like 99% of the population does, then you're going to receive benefits. It will feel pleasurable, like euphoric, to release muscle tension in your hips. If that's not painful, go ahead and start rocking a little bit. Shake your ankles back and forth, straighten your ankles out. You would be amazed at the basic moves that bring so much physical relief. And part of waking up and reducing anxiety is somatic release. It is letting that muscle tension unwind itself. It doesn't have to be complicated. These very basic movements are like gold, I'm telling you. Try it. Whenever me and my dogs wake up, I notice that they shake, like they come out of the blankets. They're Chihuahuas, they're tiny. They sleep in the bed, I know, whatever. They come out of the blankets and they shake like dogs do after they get water on them. And I got thinking, it's interesting. Like they shake. They shake off whatever's in their body, in their muscles. So humans kind of do that too, naturally. But I think we limit ourselves. We judge ourselves, other people judge us, and we just stop being in touch with our body movements. So the stretching, the somatic release, take it a step further. Make sure you're doing like a good old stretch with your arms, your shoulders. If you feel like shaking, and this is going to lead into my next topic, when you stand up, give your body a shake. Start like Elvis Presleying around your room. Throw on music that makes you feel like moving. Leading into my next morning hack here. I started like dancing for as long as comfortable. Some mornings it's like 5-10 minutes. Some mornings it's like an hour and a half. Start dancing. I don't care how silly you feel, guys. I lived for myself for like a long time. I lived alone in the woods by myself for like 6, 7, 8 months before I stopped judging myself. Like, oh, I look weird. Like, I actually felt like there was a third party perceiving how weird I was, even though there was no one around. Give yourself permission to stop judging your own self and break out into the weird movements. I find that as a woman, like throwing my hips forward was kind of unnatural. Like that's, I think, something guys do more. And I found that my hips actually really enjoyed stretching that way. I had just not ever done it. Probably the opposite and inverse is true. If you're a guy, maybe like it's not really natural for you to like move your hip to the side, or like throw your butt back. Do the movements that are kind of like the ones that you have held back on because of social constructs, because of like gender roles and stuff. See how good it feels to give like your hips especially like a range of motion, very little, bit by bit, day by day, that they're not used to. Your hips will thank you. It's for your nervous system, guys. Because if you're here listening to me, we're talking about having a better day. Part of having a better day is creating safety within your body. And how do we create safety within our body? Well, partially through our mind, partially through literally releasing the trauma that's pent up in our tissues. And I find that moving, shaking, stretching, putting on music, and just doing like a little bit of innocent gyrating, no one's watching, guys, that stuff works wonders. And our tissues, our brain, it's all connected. So you are healing your mind every time you're dancing. Make your bed, guys. I have one blanket on my bed. It's very easy, but it makes me feel so much better if I just like flop the blanket back over where it's supposed to go. And then at any point during the day, if I feel like I need to do like a little stretchy stretch, I'm able to go to the bed and just lay on top of the blanket, and it's kind of clean feeling. It doesn't feel like I'm getting all sleepy and back into bed. Also, this dancing, if you have kids, if you have pets, watch their moods, their lives transform too. When I was like depressy, I noticed my dogs were kind of depressy. When my vibe changes, so does theirs. In fact, you guys, we had such a good morning today that when I came on to record this episode, some of you know I do not have a professional podcast recording setup. I am actually pacing in the kitchen, looking at a notebook where I wrote down some ideas, holding my 5-year-old iPhone in my hand. And that's how I'm recording these episodes. So thanks for everyone being a trooper with the audio not being the most high quality. At some point I'll get a little thing for it, but what I'm getting at is I've had to restart this podcast, this episode, like a dozen times because we have been so high vibe that my dogs keep getting excited and howling when I'm talking. And that's what I mean. High vibes are contagious. You raise your own vibe and it creates a ripple effect for you, for your day. If you have a really great morning, that tends to continue on until, something happens, right? Same thing with the way that you influence those around you. When you are high vibe, you are able to influence the vibe of your environment, the the pets, the kids, the people in traffic. Are you hugging the bumper of the person in front of you, or are you in a really good mood jamming to music in your car and you left on time and you were able to get your breakfast sandwich and someone needs to get over and you're actually feeling like a nice guy today, and you know what, instead of speeding up, I'm going to let off the gas and give them a wave and let them come over. Think about, speaking of hormones, that's almost like a dopamine release for you, right? It's like a reward in a way for the person that you allowed in front of you. They're releasing good hormones because of that, because sometimes it's stressful when you realize you need to switch lanes and you're like, oh my God, nobody's going to let me over here. Well, what happens if someone just lets you over? You feel good, all right? When you're that guy that lets someone over, that feels good too. It feels good. It feels good to be the good guy, okay? Conversely, everyone's cortisol goes through the roof when there's a shitty traffic situation. So I just want you to think about all the ways that raising your vibe impacts your day, the people around you, and allows you to continue with like a sense of safety throughout. These things, eventually the goal is to kind of be in a perpetually high vibe state. Yes, it's possible. Yes, even without all of your vices. Internal healing work is the most important work you will ever do in your life. Okay. Oh, you guys, I'm so happy. Okay. I just have a few more suggestions here, and then I'll let you go. Silence is golden. Don't feel like you always have to be consuming content or listening to blaring music or chit-chatting. Sometimes the most soothing thing you can do is be quiet, go inward, listen to your breath. It's grounding. And if we're creating safety, we need to incorporate grounding into our morning. Now, grounding can happen when we create safety in our body by releasing, like when we're shaking, when we're stretching, that is its own form of grounding, but it's like active, and if we're too active and if we don't have high energy, we're going to burn ourselves out. So with everything, balance is important. Make sure you get quiet, make sure you ground. Sometimes these topics like breathing exercises can sound overwhelming, so I'm not even going to go there, but if you need a moment, put one of your hands above your belly button, like on your breastbone, on your sternum, and put the other one below your belly button, like over your bladder area, and just get quiet. Just having physical touch on your midsection like that, I found was like extremely soothing. It was one of the earliest things I started doing, actually, when I was feeling very unsafe, very stressed out. Put your hands, one above your belly button, one below. Just breathe. Gently shake your fat up and down. Most of us have a little bit of fat there anyway. When you do that, you're bringing your attention back to your body. If you're the type that dissociates, it brings you back to your body. Jiggling your fat up and down helps your lymphatic fluid gently start moving. And also, our fascia is our pranic, our chi, our energetic superhighway system in our body. Your fascia, through trauma, through tension, gets quite clogged. Fascia is like fibrous tissue woven throughout like your muscles, and it's all through your body. But like when you tense up, these systems tense up. So your drainage, your lymph, your fascia, it all tenses up. And just by doing like gentle shakes on your stomach like that, something about it. I'm doing it right now with one hand. It is so soothing. All right. And you'll notice your body feel more regulated when you do that. Another thing for grounding, our shoes have rubber soles. And yes, I know we can't always go outside and walk barefoot and touch trees if it's cold and miserable. I found that even in the house, if you wear synthetic socks and you always wear rubber slippers and you're only ever walking on synthetic rugs or linoleum, I found a difference when I wore like cotton or wool socks and took my feet out of the slippers and stood on a wood floor or like a real tile that's made of stone or something. So you can ground yourself even in little ways like that. Like, find the most natural substance in your house that you have to stand on and remove the rubber and like the rubber, like your slippers. Oh my God. Put on like cotton socks or something and just ground. Look at your feet, literally. It was like, you know how babies become aware of their bodies? I literally had a moment where I became aware of my feet again as an adult when I was in the woods, bringing myself back online from rock bottom. And I was very dissociated. Dissociation happens sometimes automatically when our bodies say, hey, this environment is intolerable and I'm going to peace out mentally. It can be an actual journey to undissociate. And a lot of times our minds, if our mind doesn't do it, we will, right? We pick up a substance and it can be hard to come back. And substances aren't always something we drink or smoke. Sometimes substances are electronics. Are you always looking into a screen? Does it freak you out a little? Do you get anxiety when you're away from your phone too long? You might be dissociating. You might need to ground. So yeah, you very well could be leaving your body mentally all day long and not even realize it. So little moments where you take to touch your body, lay hands on your body, look at your stinking feet, put your feet on a natural substance, look at them, feel your feet touching the ground. Dance, gyrate. And like I said, touch and sensation releases oxytocin. If you are having trouble with self-care, okay, because this is where I was, guys, I was not taking care of myself. I was avoiding the shower because it was a big job. I have a lot of hair. My hair would stress me out. I'd be like, oh my God, no, I'm going to have to deal with my hair being wet and then blow drying it and blah, blah, blah. So if you are struggling with self-care, you can still find ways to release oxytocin through very simple 30-second things. Like go get a paper towel, rip it in half, run it under the tap water, wring it out, and wipe your face down with it. And congratulations, you have just released oxytocin. You have touched yourself and your face will feel cleaner, tighter. Take that paper towel, really get around the corners of your eyes, your nose, do your neck, do your chin, go behind your ears, and then for your final move, give the inside of your ears a wipe. You will feel so much better, and that took you 30 seconds. Rock Bottom Alchemy is so near and dear to my heart because I'm speaking to people who are very low functioning, and maybe you are not quite as low functioning, but I found myself very, very low functioning for quite a while. Things like brushing my teeth, brushing my hair, washing my face sucked the life and energy out of me. And that's why I make sure that when I am here on the podcast and in my courses. Guys, I do courses too, for like if you want to dive into any aspect of inner work, like on a deeper level. I've got courses on my website. I always link it here below the podcast. But I'm speaking to the people who I know are underserved, often overlooked. And in my case, I went to the doctor. They generic labeled me as depressed, and they gave me antidepressants and anti-anxiety meds. The meds made me feel sick. They gave me migraines. They actually made me incredibly anxious. And I was like out of commission for like a week or two every time I tried a new med. And I was more than depressed, y'all. My nervous system was shut down. Fight, flight, or freeze. Freeze is when your body shuts you down on a physiological level. It is so much deeper than depression. Depression is actually just like a symptom of a nervous system shutdown, a collapse. I have a huge heart for people lost in the sauce in a nervous system shutdown. Like if you're finding yourself in bed, not able to finish tasks, stuff like that, it could have a lot more to do with your nervous system than you realize. It's potentially probably not your fault at all. Like your body has taken over and is running the show. So it's literally about baby stepping your way out. There's no other way to do it. You're not going to be able to like go from bedridden, depressed looking, not finishing tasks, doom scrolling all the time. You're not going to, in 2 days or 2 weeks, 2 months, rocket out of that. 2 months maybe, if you dedicate every last bit of what you've got to your healing. But it's a process. It has to be done gently and with love and care. And that's why I'm here, you guys, because when I needed guidance to bring my nervous system back online, I didn't even know what was wrong with me. I didn't know where to turn. I went to the doctors. They just said I'm depressed. So I had to learn by myself. And now I realize the pit that people fall in and how hard it is to get out. So in each episode, I make sure that, yes, I'm speaking to the person who, just needs like some fuel for their day, who needs some uplifting ideas to be poured into them. But I am also speaking to my my comrades, the people who are really lost in the sauce, the people who are at rock bottom and need a hand reached to them. So I wrote down a couple other things. I'll mention them. Feng shui and cleaning. When we might have mentioned this at the beginning. Maybe that was one of my other restarts when the dogs were barking. I can't remember now, but all of the objects in your environment hold energy. If you wake up in a messy environment, that's stressful. So decluttering, cleaning when you can. If you can do a little bit before bed, if you can do a little bit when you wake up, even just something small. Grab the trash, take it to the trash can. If you have clothes all over the room, just grab all the clothes, at least put them in one spot, It doesn't have to be like a giant project, but do something that visually improves your environment. The less objects, the better. And one of the good ways to start is just bringing like items together. All the clothes together, all the hair ties together, all the trash together. Create little things to look forward to. If you're not in love with your caffeine, your coffee setup, because coffee, they've shown that even just holding a cup of coffee lowers your vibration. So maybe you're interested in switching to like tea or something. Create like a fun little station where your tea is at. Maybe start with supplements. The couple of supplements that I've found that have helped me the most in the morning are ones that bring my brain online. So I'm not caffeine free, guys. I'll have like some green tea in the morning or white tea. But supplements wise, I'll take something that's like a healthy fat, like cod liver oil, fish oil. A lot of them have naturally occurring vitamin A and vitamin D in them, and your brain needs fat to think. So if you struggle with cognition, memory loss, anything like that, include some fat into your morning. So I pop like 2 to 3 fish oil supplements in the morning, and it really like makes my brain feel good. The other thing I do for my brain is take a nootropic, which nootropics are like targeted nutrients specifically for brain function. They help restore, like in your brain you have like neurons, synapses, and like nerves that have sheaths at the end of them. I know this is like a little bit out of my wheelhouse to go into the details on, but my understanding is that nootropics help rebuild, restore like those the neural pathways and help restore the sheaths at the end of whatever. I don't know. I found one that I take every day. Literally, like the moment I take a sip of it, I can feel my brain like coming back online. And that was before I read about the science of it. So nootropics, guys, if you've ever felt like your brain is foggy, if it just kind of like drops off and doesn't come back, if your memory fails you, try out a nootropic. I can't recommend, I tried one, I can't recommend it enough. It's called Axio. I usually link it below as well. It's the one that I was taking during my rock bottom alchemy when I was in the woods. I take it now when I can afford it. As you guys know, I'm working on alchemizing my poverty. That's the last thing that I'm working on. But I will link both the Axio below and the courses that I sell if you guys want to go through like any inner work that's deeper than what we cover in the podcast. I love you guys. I'm so glad that you spent this time with me. I hope you have a beautiful morning, a beautiful day, a beautiful evening. You'll have to let me know like what things here you implement that made an impact. I love hearing from people. I get a lot of inbox messages, so please know, even if I read your message and I haven't found the space to reply, because I'm finding that I'm getting more and more messages, it is getting hard to keep up with messages because I'm focusing my energy on birthing, on creating, on sharing my love in a way where I can reach a lot of people. I read each and every single message or comment. They mean the world to me. Please give me your feedback. I'd love to hear what you've implemented, what's helped you, and even like podcast ideas if there's something that you want me to talk about. Okay, you guys, thanks for spending the time with me. This has been a longer episode than most, but it was worth it. Our morning routine, how to have a good day, it's important. It was a key thing that I changed. Not going into the cell phone right away is a big deal. Pouring nutrition into your body is a big deal. Moving your body is a big deal. Creating a high vibe for yourself by finding achievable happy hormone releasing activities, both short and long term. Those matter. Visualizing, saying that you're going to have a wonderful day. Wonderful things are going to happen to me today. Say it, mean it, smile. And watch your life transform slowly but surely. Pair it up with your other inner work. This is all cumulative. Okay, you guys? I love you. Thanks for hanging. Be happy. Stay blessed. Because you are more than you know.